I'm selling my Cardano. That is right, it is time to talk exit strategy. You know I've been a huge Cardano bull for years, but there will be a time to take profits, so let's talk profit strategy. Now don't worry, I'm not paper handing my Cardano at $1, but I don't want to burn away all my profits holding too long. Now the first thing we're going to be looking at is Cardano's monthly returns, because what happened last cycle is going to tell us how to navigate this cycle. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna have my updated Cardano price prediction. So looking back at the monthly cycle here, now we're gonna be looking at 2020 heading into 2021, because that is the same phase we're at within the 4-year cycle. We're at the end of 2024, we're rolling into 2025, and 2025 should act a lot like 2021, given the 4-year cycles tend to repeat with Bitcoin and altcoins as well. Now in 2020, you see November was very, very green. And when I hide my camera here, you can see every single time we have a green November, we also have a green December. So that bodes well for this cycle and bodes well for the upcoming month. But in November of 2020, we put in an 84% pump, and then December kind of slowed down with 6%. But look what happened January and February, 89% and 277% pump. But that wasn't a terrible time to sell your Cardano, but if you did, you ended up missing out on the 100% pump and the bullish April and May. Now we're pulling up Cardano weekly candles here, and this right here is November 2020. So you can see this is right when Cardano first started to put in a nice little bull run here. And then that was just an epic time to be holding, and you can see the huge pumps that we saw in January and February. But what about Cardano priced in Bitcoin? Cardano price against Bitcoin actually put in a red December. Here you can see the November gains were all given back to Bitcoin before Cardano started gaining against Bitcoin. But even though Cardano had an 8% green December, it was bleeding against Bitcoin because Bitcoin's price was skyrocketing at the same time. So right here, we're looking at sats, and you notice there is a little bit of a trend line of Cardano priced against Bitcoin. And then the top part of the trend line is about where I expect Cardano to slow down against the flagship cryptocurrency. And I have a prediction here, 4,000 sats. Now, this is a prediction I made all the way back in June of this year, and it's still playing out. Now, I predicted the Cardano pump against Bitcoin. That played out, and now I'm also going to predict Cardano dropping against Bitcoin about a year and a half from now. And I'm also predicting Cardano falling against Bitcoin about 9 months from now. But back to the monthly chart, and then we'll do the Cardano price prediction here. It was not a good time, even though Cardano was falling in 2021. Selling in June, selling in July was fine if you were playing the spot market, but you were pretty far away from the parabolic top as far as the price action goes. Now, if you started selling in June, that's the first weekly candle right here, you're a little too late. You're better off holding on until we hit the second leg for the alt season there. And that was around fall for Cardano and ended up topping out in September. So imagine if you sold a little early, you ended up missing out on all the best gains. So that takes me to 2025. I do think we're probably going to have to cool down in December, just like we did in 2020, where we only had a 6% pump. But I do expect Cardano to blast off with the rest of the altcoins if we see an altcoin season, and I put that at a very high probability. But more important than this monthly chart is going to be this trend line, in my opinion, and so I want to sell at 4,000 sats. But now let's do our price prediction. What does that mean for Cardano's price? Now, first thing we need to do is measure the gain, assuming it happens, let's just say it happens within the next 150 days. It's very doable here. You're going to see 4,100 sats, give or take. That is a 300% pump for Cardano priced in Bitcoin. Now, right now, Cardano's priced right around $1, so a 300% pump, we get a $4 Cardano if Bitcoin remains flat. But I expect two different price targets for Bitcoin. We got the low end and we got the high end. Now, on the low end for Bitcoin's price prediction, we got about $160,000, $170,000 Bitcoin, and that's going to be about a 70% pump from here. So let's multiply this by 1.7, and this is my low end target for Cardano this cycle, $6.80, which is really close to a meme price, which would be $6.90. But what about my moonshot potential? What if Bitcoin goes above $200,000? Well, for that, we need to peel back the price prediction a little bit. But if Bitcoin goes to 240, that doesn't mean Cardano tops out on that exact day. Probably Cardano is going to top out after a retracement, so we'll just say Bitcoin goes to $200,000. But it's unlikely Cardano tops against Bitcoin at the very peak of Bitcoin's market cap. So I would expect a little bit of a pullback, and we'll just say, what if around $210,000? What would we expect for Cardano? Well, to get that price, you multiply from our previous Cardano target for 4,000 sats, which would be a 4x from today's price, and you multiply it by 2.1, and then you can see that gives us a $8.40 Cardano. Now, $8.40 seemed a little bit dubious at me, but then I saw this trend line that shocked me that really gives us a very strong case for $8.40. Now, this is Cardano on a log chart, and I didn't realize at the tops perfectly coincides with this price target, assuming we top out 12 months from now, which would be November 2025, which is a very, very likely target for alt season. Now, and November 3rd, there we go, and you look right above my head, $8.42. So we're seeing a lot of confluence, $8.40. That is my new updated Cardano price target. Let me know down below, is that FUD? Do you think Cardano can go to $10 a cycle? I'm hearing even some people say 20. That would be epic. Let me know, and I'll see you in your ADA bags at the top.